Right. Now, off of mute. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good to see you all again. As mentioned to a few of you before I came over, we'll kick off with broadcast with Mikel, and then we'll go into a quick 10:30 UK Wednesday with written media. So if we're all here and ready, we'll kick off with Roger Clark from Sky.
Thank you. Hi, Mikel. Good to see you. You can hear me okay?
Yeah.
First of all, we all know you played Olympiacos last season and how that one ended. Is there any sense of setting the record straight or revenge in this one?
Well, obviously, it was a really tough one to swallow. The way it happened at the end, it was really cruel. After everything we did in the two games, to lose the way we did it and with the last chance that Oba had. But we moved on. Obviously, we have some feeling towards that team, and we want to put it right and go to the next round, obviously.
Are you a stronger team, a more resilient team than you were last year?
I think we are a better team than we were last year. And looking back the two games that we played and the way we are playing now, I think we've come a long way. They have some different players as well, but very similar structure to last year. They've been doing really well. They played in the Champions League. They get knocked off the Champions League. They play against City, two really good games as well. So it will be a really tough opponent.
People will be looking at this one, but also looking ahead to the weekend as well. Do you pick your side? Do you think at all in terms of with one eye on the North London derby?
Well, we have a massive week with the next 4 games that we have in a short period. We have to manage the squad, but obviously the main game is tomorrow, and we have to focus on that because tomorrow's game is going to help us for the weekend, it's going to help us for next week, so we have to focus in tomorrow.
In terms of where you sit in the league at the moment, is success in the Europa League your best route or most reliable route, do you think, of getting back into European football next season?
There is a lot to do in both competitions. We are still very far to achieve anything direct through the Europa League with the amount of games that you have to win. The same in the Premier League. The points that we lost in the 3 away games against Wolves, Aston Villa and Burnley sums up a little bit our season. That we should have got much more from those games and we would have been in a different position. But our reality is that at the end we don't find the way to win. And we have to learn how to win and be consistent winning every 3 days when you produce those performances. And it's the biggest margin that we have to improve.
Just finally from me, just in terms of the nature of the goal you conceded the other day, do you still encourage your team to still play exactly the same way out of the back? Obviously not with the same results, but you'll continue to ask them to play out from the back of the way that they have been?
I will always do, as far as we all the time follow our principles and the rules that we have, the way we play, the way we discriminate when to play, when not to play, the type of role that we have to play, with the right distances, with the right foot. If not, we don't play. Without the right structure, you don't play. It's too risky. It's what you gain and the risks that are there. And the rewards have to be much bigger than the risk. And when it's not, you don't have to play. It's a no-play zone, you don't play.
Thanks a lot, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Roger. Just to say before we go on to the next question, we've got lots of hands up and we're not going to get through them, so apologies in advance for that. So we'll move quickly on to Ian Abrahams from TalkSport.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Can I ask you how you feel about facing Olympiacos? I mean, it's a year on since you played them. It's a year on since you got coronavirus after playing them. I'm not saying that's necessarily directed, but I mean, a lot's happened and a lot happened around that game. So how do you actually, mentally feel facing Olympiacos again?
Well, obviously, we have the 2 games to look at and everything that happened in those 2 games, the disappointment that we had to digest, and it took some time to do that because it was a hard one and we had a lot of faith and enthusiasm in the competition and we were knocked off. And now we have another opportunity. It's the beauty of this game. It's a completely different context, but the reality is the same, that we have to beat them twice to go through in the competition and we have to be better than them.
You were big favourites last year to win this tie and didn't. And again, I would would say you're big favourites to win the tie this time round.
Well, but that's what is linked to our football club. But it's true that we don't have to underestimate who they are, where they are coming from. They're coming from playing in Champions League. This is a team that is used to playing all those competitions, and they beat us last year. It doesn't matter the manner, but they beat us last year. So we have to be better than last year to beat them now.
And just a couple more. First of all, the Europa League, as you've previously been asked, it looks like this is the only route back into European football for Arsenal next season. How much of I'm not going to use the word disaster, but how much of a real blow for the club in terms of football and financial would be if you do get back into Europe?
I don't want to think that way at all. I am always very positive. I think there is still a lot to play for. And what we need is we need to put 4 or 5 wins in a row. If we are able to do that, the things are going to look very different in 2 or 3 weeks' time. If we don't, obviously we don't have a chance, because when we have had the opportunity to do that, we haven't done it consistently enough. So it's completely down to us. But I want to think that there is still a lot to play for, and we have to be with that mindset, because if not, it's completely impossible to achieve anything.
My final one, Sean Dyche wasn't very happy with Alexander Lacazette screaming when he went down under a challenge at Burnley on Saturday. I don't know how badly hurt he was, but in general, and you played with some pretty hard footballers, would you encourage your players maybe not to scream out quite so much? Because when we can all hear it now without a crowd, it can sound a little embarrassing.
I don't comment in what the other players do. I comment in what our players do and focus on us, the same as I don't comment how other managers or other players or how they use their strength to weaken opponents. I don't talk about that.
Good luck anyway, Mikel.
Thank you, Ian.
Thanks, Ian. We'll move to George from the BBC.
Thanks, Ben. Hello, Mikel.
Hello.
Just wondering if you've got an update on Emil Smith-Rowe, please.
Yes, he's close to returning. He's going to have a full session today to see if he can be involved in tomorrow's game. So after training, we will know exactly where we are with him.
Sorry to go back to that defeat last year, but is that ranked as one of your lowest moments as Arsenal manager? Just what happened with Aubameyang in the last minute? I mean, everyone expected him to score.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Emotionally, it really drained us, because it was a roller coaster during the game, and what happened, it could have ended in a beautiful way, and he ended up in a really harsh way for us. And I think emotionally it took some time to get the team and some individuals lifted, because it really hurt.
I know you said you're a better team this year than last year, but have you ever known a team to shoot themselves so much in the foot this season as Arsenal have done? Because it's just the red cards, what happened against Burnley, and how do you stop that? Because some of it you can't control.
No, it's very difficult, because there are a lot of unexpected situations in a football match. But then emotionally we have to be much more calm, much more secure, and we have to manage the games much better in certain situations. And that comes with maturity, that comes from learning. So every time you do that, hopefully the next one you learn and it doesn't happen again to the same player. But then sometimes it happens to a different one. The positive things are things that are in our control, and it's not something that opponents are doing that we cannot control or we cannot do. So I think they are easier to fix, but we have to fix them very quickly, because if not, the margins are so small and you're all the time very close to losing points.
Just the last one from me. Are you looking forward to seeing Socrates tomorrow, but also are you worried that he's got the secrets to how you play?
It's going to be good to see Papa. He's such a good character, a very popular player here, liked and loved by everybody. It was a pleasure to work with him, such a pro, and yeah, he knows what we try to do, but there is not a magic formula, and I'm sure he will try to do his best, and we will do the same.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. We'll go to Per Atle Karlsson from TV2 Norway.
Yes, hi Mikel.
Hi.
Can you just give us your assessment on Martin Ødegaard so far? Has he given the team what you hope for, and also are you keen on keeping him also after the season?
I'm really happy with him. I think he has settled really, really quickly within the team, within what we demand to the players, his behavior, his attitudes, his work rate has been phenomenal. He had better moments than others during games to give us the special qualities that he has, but overall I am really happy with him.
Thanks, Per. We'll go to Simon Collins from the London Evening Standard.
Hi, Mikel. Obviously this week with Olympiacos twice and Spurs, is this going to be the week that defines Arsenal's season, whether it's success or failure?
We are talking about this every week. Obviously it's a massive week for us. We have 4 very important games coming up, and we need to win all of them. That's our reality, and this is how we're going to approach it.
The players obviously come under some criticism, particularly after that Burnley game. Is this for a week for them to stand up and prove their critics wrong with these 4 games?
The critics for the performances, or
chance for the players to prove their critics wrong? Obviously, you say these are 4 massive games. Is this a chance for them, the players, to show the critics that they're wrong about Arsenal?
Well, I think the players have to focus on performing as good as possible and try to do their best on the pitch. That criticism, where it's coming from, with which intentions, is something that they must not pay attention to, because they cannot control. Is the better they do individually, the better we do collectively, things are gonna work better. And that's the responsibility that they have all the time they jump on that pitch.
And just lastly from me, obviously last year you had great success with the FA Cup, but you had nights like Olympiacos, which were so painful. What is it that sticks with you more when you reflect on things? Is it the defeats like that, or is it the victories?
Both, because you learn a lot from defeats, and obviously what victories and trophies bring is joy, excitement, and smiles to everybody that is involved with the football club. And this is why we are sitting here, just to try to make things better and people happy. And when you do that, obviously the satisfaction is really big. And in the opposite side, when you fail, when you lose, when you make people sad, obviously internally and emotionally, it's very hurting.
Thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. We'll now move on to 10:30 UK Wednesday.